英検分野別ターゲット英検1級リスニング問題150 CD3 模擬テスト第1回
The listening test for the first grade examination is about to begin. Listen carefully to the directions. You will not be permitted to ask questions during the test. This test has 4 parts. All of the questions in these 4 parts are multiple choice questions. For each question, choose the best answer from among the 4 choices written in your test booklet. On your answer sheet, find the number of the question and mark your answer. You are permitted to take notes for every part of this listening test. Now, here are the directions for Part 1. In this part, you will hear 10 dialogues, number 1 through number 10. Each dialogue will be followed by one question. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The dialogue and the question will be given only once. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Dad, David Gleason's having a party on Saturday. Can I go, please?
I don't think so, honey. David Gleason doesn't exactly have a sterling reputation, does he? I don't want you rolling home drunk at all hours.
That's unfair, Dad. You used to drink when you were 16.
That was Germany. This is Australia. And until the law changes, my 16-year-old daughter is not going to any party where there's sure to be underage drinking.
Question. What does this conversation tell us about the man? Number 2.
Amy, has Jane seemed uptight to you lately? She keeps giving me these odd looks. It's like I've offended her somehow.
That wouldn't surprise me. Some of your jokes are quite bawdy and inappropriate for the office. I can well imagine a staunch feminist like Jane being put off.
I'd better go and apologize in that case. There she is now. Jane, wait up.
Malcolm, no wonder she's upset with you. That's Melissa, not Jane. Question. What is the problem? Number 3.
Hey, Jane, did you know that there was a special audit in the sales department yesterday?
Hi, John. No, but I'm not surprised. The head of that department has always struck me as being a shifty character.
So do you think there may have been some monkey business going on?
Well, you know what they say. There's no smoke without fire. Question. What are they discussing? Number 4.
When should we tell him?
We? Since you're the supervisor of the account, I think you should tell him.
I guess you're right. But we worked for them for over 30 years. This is going to be difficult to explain.
Don't worry. It wasn't your fault. They wanted to cut back and just couldn't justify our fee anymore. So they chose a lower bid.
Yeah, well, I hope it comes out that easy when I'm talking to the president.
Question. What are the people discussing? Number 5. I'd like these 3 books, please.
Certainly, ma'am. Wow, a historical romance, a whodunit, and a political biography. You do have eclectic tastes in reading.
You could say that, I suppose. I certainly do enjoy reading on a wide variety of topics. I hardly watch any TV, so books are my main source of information. Don't you need to see my card?
Yes, please. Thank you. Remember, these are due back in 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be back before then. Question. Why was the man surprised? Number 6.
Emily, there seems to be a problem with payment for the office move. We were supposed to be billed later, but now the moving company is saying that the full amount has to be paid in cash. Is this some sort of misunderstanding?
Well, Jim, did you fill out the necessary paperwork I left on your desk? It has to be filled out and submitted if we choose to be billed at a later date.
Oh, no. I totally forgot. Can I fill it out now and get you to fax it to the moving company?
That should be fine, but I'll have to check with the moving company to verify.
Thanks. If it isn't, then maybe they accept credit cards.
I've already checked. It's either cash up front or a bank transfer at a later date. Question: what did the man forget to do? Number 7. What about these, Neil? The design is traditional but a little unusual. They should wear well, too.
The gold is a bit ostentatious. What about these? The design is more us, don't you think?
They are elegant, I agree. But look at the price, Neil. That's way more than 3 months' pay. I could never ask you to pay that much.
Relax, Felicity. I can afford it. Besides, you and I will be wearing these for the rest of our lives, so money is hardly an object.
Oh, Neil, you do say the sweetest things. Question: what is this couple doing? Number 8. Hey, where are you off to in such a hurry, Todd?
Cowdy, do you have to ask? The draw for the big state lottery is on Sunday. The jackpot is up to $50 million.
Oh, not again. How many tickets are you planning to buy this time? Does your wife know about your obsession?
I think I'll stick to about 50 tickets this time. Remember, if I do win, I won't be sharing with anyone who's so pessimistic.
Pessimistic? More like I'm realistic. I mean the chances of me winning $50 million is about the same chance of me becoming the president of this company.
With an attitude like that, it's amazing you get through the day. And, by the way, my wife actually asked me to pick up some tickets for her, too.
I give up. Question: what do the speakers disagree about? Number 9.
Hi, honey. Bad news. The meeting is running later than I expected. I'm sorry.
I take it that means I should cancel our dinner reservation for tonight.
Yeah, I know you were really looking forward to eating out. I'll make it up to you.
Don't worry. So what should we do for dinner? I can order out for some pizza, or I can whip something up.
Pizza sounds tempting, but that's probably just because I'm starving. What were you thinking of making?
Well, what about some curry and rice? I'll have to go to the supermarket to get some of the ingredients. And looks like we're all out of curry powder, too.
That sounds good, but I feel bad about canceling our dinner plans. How about I just pick up some takeout curry on the way home?
All right. I hope you won't be too late.
I figure I'll be out of here in another 30 minutes, so I should be home within the hour.
See you then. Question: what have the couple decided to do? Number 10.
Okay, everyone. Student numbers have dropped dramatically over last term, and we need to stop this trend quickly. Any suggestions?
We're not the only language school losing numbers, Nick. This is an industry trend.
So, Rebecca, you're saying that the situation's hopeless?
Of course not, Nick. The point is, it's not our school in particular that's losing its appeal, but foreign language study itself.
What's to be done then, Andrea?
We could focus our promotion on the importance of foreign language acquisition. It's a small world and all that.
We need to advertise the school's unique features. I mean, how many language schools can offer tour guiding courses?
Not to mention our highly qualified teachers.
Unfortunately, we're not the only school with special courses and excellent teachers. Besides, there's no point in having the best teachers if we have no students for them to teach.
You mean we can't teach languages unless people want to learn them?
Exactly.
Question: what does Andrea imply? Here are the directions for Part 2. In this part, you will hear 5 passages, A through E. Each passage will be followed by 2 questions, number 11 through number 20. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The passage and the questions will be given only once. Now, let's begin.
A. Renewable energy sources. If you were to travel round Denmark, you might well see many huge wind turbines, with their blades whirling round, rather like giant windmills. Denmark is the world's leading wind power nation, and the Danes like using it because they think it suits their country and their lifestyle. So what are its prospects? On one hand, because the Earth's oil and gas resources are finite, few people would seriously argue that we can go on as we are. A considerable number of energy specialists also point to the relatively minimal investment that would be required to change to renewable energy sources like wind and solar power. Enormous changes, however, would be needed to people's lifestyles. Wind power may be socially acceptable in a flat and bicycle-friendly country like Denmark. However, the scale of the effort that would be needed in nations where people rely heavily on the automobile is unimaginably greater. It is possible that one day there will be a major shift toward greater reliance on renewable energy sources such as wind power, but the power of inertia and people's reluctance to change their ways is very strong. Perhaps we shouldn't bet too heavily on major changes in the immediate future.
Questions. Number 11. Why do the Danish people like using wind power? Number 12. What is the major obstacle to greater use of wind power? B. Healthcare rationing. In wartime, food items such as eggs and butter were in short supply, so they had to be rationed. People were only allowed certain amounts because the demand exceeded the supply. This is a basic law of economics. Recently, the application of this law to healthcare, restricting the demand to match the supply, has become a widely debated topic. Why has this debate erupted now? In principle, there is nothing new about healthcare rationing. Doctors have long made judgments about whether a particular treatment is appropriate or justified. But previously, their decisions were made behind closed doors. Recently, however, thanks to the Internet, people have become more aware of what choices are available. At the same time, medical technology is rapidly developing so that previously incurable conditions can be treated at a price. And this is the core of the problem. If the possibilities of treatment have expanded, one answer is to increase the budget for health care. But if this cannot be done, then the alternative is to restrict the demand. Given the speed at which the average age of Japan's population is increasing, it will not be long before Japan, too, will be faced with difficult choices about who gets what sort of drugs or treatment.
Questions. Number 13. What is the main reason the debate about healthcare rationing has erupted now? Number 14. What will Japan likely have to do in the future?
C. War against hedgehogs. In a group of islands off the coast of Scotland, a drama is being played out. In 1973, a resident on one of the islands brought in 7 hedgehogs to try to keep down the slugs and other pests in his garden. Unfortunately, some of the hedgehogs escaped. To their delight, they found that they could breed freely and had a plentiful supply of birds' eggs. 30 years later, the number of hedgehogs had increased to an estimated 4,000, and the birds whose eggs formed the hedgehog's main food supply were in danger of extinction. So the authorities decided that some hedgehogs had to be killed, and in 2003, 66 hedgehogs were got rid of, at an estimated cost of £1,500 per hedgehog. But by this time, the British Hedgehog Preservation Society had stepped in. Protesting against the killing of hedgehogs, which were on the decline in the rest of Britain, members of the society formed a group of volunteers to go to the islands and try to save the hedgehogs and transfer them to the mainland. So 2 groups are now involved, one group trying to kill the hedgehogs and one group trying to save them. The drama continues, and it's anyone's guess who will win.
Questions. Number 15. Why did the authorities decide to kill the hedgehogs? Number 16. What does the speaker think will likely be the result? D. Land ownership and planning control. In Britain, the fact that you own a house doesn't mean that you can do what you like with it. Comprehensive legislation over land use, including all types of buildings, dates back to 1947, and the period since then has seen a steady increase in government control. In practice, this means that all types of construction and alterations are subject to very strict controls. It's always necessary to submit a planning application, and when deciding whether or not to approve it, the authorities will look closely not only at the proposed building, but at the whole neighborhood. So, for example, they will look at the color and design of nearby houses to see if your design matches with them, or at the number of existing shops to see if a new supermarket is really needed, and so on. Of course, there are disputes, but in general, most people accept the system, and it does have some very pleasing results. For example, urban sprawl is largely non-existent because building in the countryside surrounding towns, the green belts, is forbidden, so you can travel for many kilometers through green fields filled with sheep and cows.
Questions. Number 17. What is a result of the current building standards in Britain? Number 18. Why is building in the countryside around towns forbidden in Britain? E. One-man protest. On June 2, 2001, Brian Haw began a one-man protest in Parliament Square in London, in front of the Houses of Parliament. Initially, Haw was protesting against British government support for sanctions against Iraq, but later he extended his target to include the UK's involvement in the Iraq invasion and its aftermath. Described as a committed Christian with a passion for peace and human rights, Haw sleeps in Parliament Square, and over the years has built up a large and highly visible display of anti-war banners and placards, many of which have been presented by well-wishers. On the other hand, a number of members of Parliament have complained that the noise from the megaphone that Haw uses disrupts their work, and several attempts have been made to remove him. In spring 2005, the UK Parliament even brought in a new law designed to prevent Haw and other demonstrators from protesting outside the Parliament building. Unfortunately for them, they overlooked the fact that the law was drafted in such a way as to prevent demonstrations starting after August 2005. Since Haw had been demonstrating since 2001, the judges found that the legislation did not apply to him, and he vowed to continue his demonstration for as long as it takes.
Questions. Number 19. Why did British members of Parliament complain about Haw's demonstration? Number 20. Why did the law that Parliament passed not apply to Haw?
Here are the directions for Part 3. In this part, you will hear 5 passages, F through J. The passages represent real-life situations and may contain sound effects. Each passage will have one question, number 21 through number 25. Before each passage, you will have 10 seconds to read the situation and question written in your test booklet. After you hear the passage, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The passage will be given only once. Now, let's begin. F. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 21.
Welcome! Looking for show times, reviews, previews in the Tri-City area, or just lonely? We are here for you all day, all night, every day of the year. You have reached the automated touch-tone movie phone answering services. This service can only be accessed by a touch-tone phone. Please listen to the following options and select one by pressing the appropriate number on your touch-tone phone. To listen to previews and showtimes of movies opening this weekend, press 1. To listen to showtimes of movies presently playing, press 2. To listen to a list of movie titles presently playing at a theater location near you, press 3. To listen to reviews of presently playing movies, press 4. To listen to this list again, press 5.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
G. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 22.
Thank you for listening to K-Rock's AM Radio, your authority on all the local, statewide, and national news, weather, and sports. Attention! All parents and children attending school. This is a public service announcement for northwestern Minnesota school districts. Due to the winter storm we received last night, the condition of the roads, particularly the rural ones, are in bad condition, and the buses are running late in some areas. The school districts have alerted us to today's schedule. Please listen for the school that pertains to your situation. Please adjust your children's bus boarding time accordingly. Little Falls schools are running 2 hours late. Lake City is open at its normal time. Grayston is closed today. Midville is opening after lunch. We will repeat this list again in 15 minutes. Now back to the news.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
H. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 23.
Welcome to Sports Update with me, Ken Curtis. Heavy snowfalls are playing havoc with today's soccer schedule. Wolves vs. Cullum and West Villa vs. South End Swallows have been canceled. The much-anticipated game between the Falcons and the Bears has been postponed until Monday evening. Tickets will remain valid. Call the Falcons hotline for more information. In the second division's top matchup, Hartford Wanderers are due to host high-flying Brentwood. Overnight snow is still being cleared, and there will be a final pitch inspection at midday. Hartford is having problems with its online fan information service today, so tune in again here at 12:15 for the latest news on that one. If the thumbs up is given, that should be a cracker. For the latest on other games, call your favorite team's information line.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
I. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 24.
Thank you for calling DRK Clinic. Our office is presently closed. Registered patients can make an appointment by leaving a message after the tone. Please quote your patient number listed on the back of your clinic card. New patients must come to the office in person to register before using this service. Our office is open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. except on Sundays. Here are the doctor's schedules for this week. Dr. Dixon is available on Monday, Wednesday and Thursday from 8 to 4:30. Dr. Ryan is on vacation most of this week. However, he is available on Friday from 8 to 12. Dr. Kingston will fill in for Dr. Ryan on Monday and Wednesday and is also available on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons from 1 to 4:30.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
J. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 25.
Welcome to Royaldale, the Twin Cities' largest and most exciting shopping mall. Bring the children while you do your Christmas shopping and get a free photograph with Santa or one of his friends and a delicious giant candy cane. If you are looking for software games on sale from $5.99 and up, stop by December 21st, 22nd, or 23rd. Over 50% off on blouses, slacks, and dresses in the wonderful women's clothing sale December 18th through the 21st. So be sure to take advantage of the low prices. December 20th to December 23rd, men's leather dress shoes are 2 for 1, as long as the more expensive one is over $99. Don't forget that the mall will be closed from December 25th to the 27th. Come and join in the fun this Christmas at Royaldale, your one-stop shopping palace.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet. Finally, here are the directions for Part 4. In this part, you will hear an interview. The interview will be followed by 2 questions, number 26 and number 27. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The interview and the questions will be given only once. Now, let's listen to the interview. This is an interview with a teacher. Welcome, everyone, to our series, Find Your New Life on KNOW Satellite Radio. My name is Kate Hollinger, and today we are interviewing Paul Darwin. Paul left a long, successful career as a government consultant to become a substitute teacher at a local junior high school. Paul, could you describe the events that led to this decision?
Well, immediately after my son had been diagnosed with chickenpox, He called my wife and I at home. I could tell from my son's voice that he was not only concerned about missing 2 weeks of school, but also about what would happen to his students. He's always considered his students as part of our family. I realized then that I had to do something. So I announced to my wife and son that I would quit my job and fill in for him as a substitute teacher.
What was your wife's response?
My wife said that she was simply stunned because she always viewed me as a man who took forever to make a decision, and suddenly, without discussing it first, I announced my retirement as well as my intention to become a substitute teacher.
What did you do next?
I called the school and told the principal about my son's situation and my offer. The principal had mixed feelings because I had neither prior experience nor training as a teacher. However, the principal did mention that I had real-world experience, which is something that a college graduate did not. The following day, I received a call from the principal welcoming me as the new substitute teacher. Then, for the next 2 weeks, I taught science to junior high school students.
That's quite an amazing story. But what happened when your son came back to work?
Well, apparently I did such a good job that I've now become a substitute teacher for other schools in the area. I've recently gone back to school part-time and am working toward receiving my teacher certification.
So you've literally launched a new career as a result of your son catching the chicken pox. What keeps you motivated?
It's that one student who comes back to you and says, "Thank you." That's what I really look forward to. You know, all the long hours have been worth it right there and then.
Are there any negative aspects to your new career?
Negative aspects? Well, not really. But I would say that the most challenging aspect would be to manage one's time. There are limited resources in any profession, but in education, improper decisions can lead to the improper preparation of future generations. In other professions, such as software development, there is a second chance, say, to fix the product if there is a flaw. However, with education, you do not have an opportunity to correct the students that you are preparing to take on future leadership roles. My real-world experience has enabled me to make sound decisions that make the most out of the limited resources available to accomplish these goals.
What advice would you give to someone who is about to make a career change and enter the teaching profession?
Never give up. You can bring an enormous amount of experience and practical understanding to the classroom that others, fresh out of college, cannot. Working as a substitute teacher is an excellent way to start.
What a remarkable story. Thanks a lot, Paul, for sharing your career experience with us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Questions. Number 26. Why did Paul Darwin decide to make a career change? Number 27. What is Paul Darwin's motivation to continue teaching? Your time is up. Stop writing and wait quietly until the answer sheets have been collected.